All right, hello everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am absolutely thrilled today. I am chatting with two members of a killer new band, DieHumane. Of course, the legendary guitarist Rick Hunolt. Of course, you probably know him from Exodus, and also chatting with Josh Vargas as well, who plays piano, bass, rhythm guitar, programming, and all sorts of stuff, and is the kind of the brainchild of this band as well.
Oh God.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Oh, I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first off, I just have to congratulate you. You just yesterday just released the second single from the upcoming album. The Grotesque is the name of the album that's coming out in May. And you just released the second, like I said, the second single. The first single was Oblivion that came out like mid-January. I think it was like January 13th or so.
Yeah.
And Shell Shock came out today. Both songs are fucking fantastic. I am enjoying the hell out of them. So congratulations on the release of that. And it's getting a lot of great press as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So far, so good, man. I mean, we can't ask for anything better. Just spread the word, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Well, and it's fascinating music. It's really compelling. It's very interesting. I know you guys kind of have, kind of dubbed yourself an avant-garde metal band, but there's so many interesting elements that are at least in these first couple of tracks that you've released. So I obviously cannot wait to hear the rest of the album. It's inventive, it's different than anything I'm hearing, and probably quite a bit different from what you played in the past, Rick. I mean, it's
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some thrash metal elements there, but there's a lot of different stuff happening. Jazz, blues. I mean, it's
all of that. We're trying to incorporate all that, right, Josh? We're trying to just trying to bring something different to the table, bro. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I've been playing thrash for 40 years. I mean, just for in my point of view, I just wanted to do something different. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed to get a call from these guys. And Josh he's just a different guy. He likes to do different. So
nice.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So tell me, how did this all start, Josh? What was kind of the impetus? What was the catalyst to start this band, and how did you get the members that are the current members in the band? How did that all kind of roll out?
Truthfully, just being real about it, DieHumane was kind of an accident. 2020 hit, of course, the whole world shut down. I, at least at that point in time, I had spent probably about 10 years working in the film industry. I shot music videos, I mean, stuff like that. That's kind of what I did. Music has always just been something I kind of did for fun. In my youth, I played for bands and stuff like that. We did little tours here and there. But nothing on what you would consider a professional level. When everything shut down, we were kind of in a bad place because we had nothing to do, literally nothing to do.
Yeah.
I had actually got off the road shooting a documentary for a band that I can't really mention right now, which is pretty much the only thing that kept me afloat in 2020. And just with the state of how everything was at the time, I don't know. Like, I just started writing music, honest to God. And it kind of started turning into a thing. And then I wrote Greg, our keyboard player, who's one of my best friends in the world. We've known each other for 17 years. I kind of roped him into it just as a, hey man, let's just make some music, dude. Let's just do something really weird, really different. It's something we always kind of wanted to circle back and do, just because, I mean, we know a lot of people, we know a lot of musicians and stuff like that. And truly, it started off as just doing it for fun. But we wrote a couple songs that I thought sounded good. And at that point in time, it's like, well, let's try to get somebody on vocals. So at that point in time, I hit up Garrett, our singer, who truthfully, I mean, he's one of the best vocalists I've ever been in a room with. And I contacted him. He was interested. So the three of us started kind of writing a few songs here and there. And then I sent it to a dear friend of mine, Steve Escabel from Skin Lab. Have you heard of Skin Lab?
Yeah.
Dude, amazing freaking band. One of the best, in my opinion, one of the best groove metal bands on the planet, dude.
Yeah, great.
But I sent it to him just trying to, see what he thought about it, maybe see if he'd do a guest track or something like that. And he calls me back, God, I don't even think it was 24 hours later, and really loved the music. And truthfully, Steve kind of got the party started because he asked me if he could send it to Rick from Exodus. And I was like, yeah, of course. And he sent it to Rick because, dude, Rick Hunolt's one of my favorite guitar players ever. To me,
oh yeah,
him and Gary, just the way they go back and forth in Exodus, I mean, it's always been phenomenal. And they both have their distinct styles. Whereas like Gary was like, his stuff is what scares the fucking kids. Rick always had these really beautiful melodies kind of integrated into his playing. And I kind of thought about it, I was like, dude, that would actually work really well for us, especially for this music, So we contacted Rick. We sent him some songs. I don't even think he listened to them for a couple of weeks. I think, honestly, we just would all kind of just hang out and just talk together on the internet because there wasn't nothing else to do. And I can remember the day that Rick decided to be in the band because at first he was like, okay, yeah, I'll put some solos on it. And then eventually he was like, so what's gonna, when are we gonna go on tour? And it's like, wait, hold on, Rick, does that mean you're in the band? It's like, well, ain't nobody else gonna play my shit. and that was it. And then we eventually got Sal Abrascato to play the drums. And to be honest, Sal was always like first, second, third, and 15th choice to play the drums. Like we're massive Typo Negative fans. We're massive Pale Horse Named Death fans, massive Life of Agony fans. So I mean, that guy's, his record speaks for itself. So we got him involved, and at that point in time, we just started bringing the songs to life. Ulrich Wild, that guy's roster just includes, just think of any amazing, important band from, the early 90s to now, and in all likelihood, they've worked with Ulrich at some point. That guy, he's worked on anything from Alice in Chains Dirt to fucking Doggy Style from Snoop Dogg, to Pantera, to Deftones, to Incubus. I mean, you name it.
Static X.
Yeah, Static X.
Oh, cool.
So
Zombie, all of it.
Yeah, White Zombie. I mean, you name it. The guy he's a legend in his own right.
He really is.
And he, as far as producers go, he's always been my favorite producer. He was like first choice for producer because he was like the perfect guy to kind of honestly just mix all that madness together.
Which was not easy.
Oh yeah.
What's up, dude?
No, I said it wasn't easy.
No, it was not. I was yanking my hair out just doing the preliminary mixes. And I handed it off to Ulrich, and I was like, dude, best of luck.
No, it was no joke. So I was lucky enough. So I called so I started doing some solos at home, and I'm like, man, if I could go down and track my solos at Ulrich Studio in LA, it would be so helpful if you could come, Josh. You know what I mean? Just because he wrote the songs and he knows because there wasn't really any what I had is I would just like take each individual song and press play and solo over the whole thing, and just wait for Josh to tell me where he wants the solo, and then I'd go, okay, well, let me take all this stuff that that I've been working on for this one cut, and then try to fit it in. You know what I mean? So it was really, really helpful having him there because he sat next to Ulrich, and I'm like, okay, well, you just tell me where you want to start and where you want to stop the solo, and let's do this. You know what I mean? And it was just so helpful having him there. It was awesome.
Dude, Rick's being very modest right now. The extent of my help was sitting next to Ulrich and being like, oh, well, this is the section we wrote for the solo, and then shutting up. That's basically what I did.
But it was awesome having him there, just because it was just great. Because that was the first time we'd actually met, Josh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, that was an amazing week because we were out there for about a week, and just to I guess tell the story from my side of it.
Yeah.
So we we all meet at this Airbnb that I'd rented in LA, and we all stayed in that place and everything. And I tortured everybody with Man-O-War in the mornings. But we get to Ulrich's studio and we start recording Rick's solos. And dude, I was just blown away by the stuff this guy was playing. And we have a song. It's actually the last song on the album. It's called Stardust Blues. It's like this big 9-minute just epic.
Cool.
And I love telling this story to people because we get to recording that one. Rick already knows where this is going.
Yeah,
we get to recording that one, and we point out where the spot for the solo. And Rick just kind of warms up for a second. Then as soon as we hit record, he just belts out just the most beautiful, just amazing guitar solo I've ever heard in one take.
Wow.
One take. Like, he did not know what he was going to play. Like, he just sat down and did it. And me and Ulrich just kind of looked at each other. And we're like, dude, that's it. Like, that's Rick's like, oh, y'all sure y'all don't want me to do another? We're like, dude, there is no better than that. Like, how the fuck did you do that?
It actually did turn out good. That's one of my favorite songs.
And yeah, so when you hear that song on the album and it gets to that guitar solo, that was one take. That was the first take.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Cool. That's really cool. So Rick, I was curious when, you mentioned that, you wanted to do something different. You've been, playing thrash metal for, 40 plus years and you wanted, you're kind of hungry for something different.
Yes, sir.
So what was your impression when you first heard like the first recordings that Josh sent you? Like,
okay, so as Josh noted, me and him, I grew up with Steve Esquivel from Skin Lab. Okay, so we're from the Bay Area, from the scene. I've known him for like 30 years. One of my super good friends. So I get a call from him one day, and he goes, "Guy, I have these friends of mine that I've been doing some tracking for in Texas, and they're looking for a guitar player." And we talked, and he goes, "Yeah, they're like, the reason that, basically that I'm calling you, Rick, is because they want more of a bluesy type, less is more, for lack of a better term, guitar player." And I'm like, dude, okay, send me some music. So it took me a couple, because listen, I got kids, and but they're my second one just graduated from high school recently, so I'm almost done with the dad thing. I mean, I may never be done, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So it took me a couple of weeks to even listen to these songs, and when I did, I think the very first song that I actually heard was Ghost. I'm pretty sure it was Ghost. It was either Ghost or Skeletons. And I'm like, I hit play on my phone. I'm like, and I was listening to it on my phone, mind you. I'm like, damn, the first thing that stuck out was Garrett. Holy cow. I was just like, man, this guy is like badass. He can sing.
Yeah.
Not only can he sing like a bird, but he can growl. You know what I mean? Like serious, like world class type stuff. He's really good. And then the horns and the violins and the songwriting and all of this stuff was put together, and I was like, holy cow. I started falling in love with this stuff. And then I was like, this is like perfect for me. This is like perfect for me. Look at this. But on that end, I knew it was perfect for me, but on the other end, I don't have a lot of experience playing to music that has so much air and so much space in it. You know what I mean? And not only is it very, very, very musical music, but it's just got so much space. So it takes a different mindset than an Exodus mindset to approach these songs in a guitar player's way to solo over this stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. I just had to shut my brain up and just close my eyes and just go, man. You know what I mean? And just play,
feel the music.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yep, and less is more for sure.
Yeah, and it's like I said before, it's so, the 2 tracks that I've heard that have been released so far, I keep saying this, beating it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but I mean it's so compelling. I think that's the perfect word for the music. I mean, there's so much more going on, but it's richly textured. It's
Really is.
So every time I've listened, and I've listened to these two tracks multiple times, and there's just so much interesting happening. And every time I listen to it, I find something new, some new
I know that's what
element.
everybody says. I love that. I love that fact. That's awesome.
Just these cool different nuances and as you mentioned, you both mentioned, Garrett West, the vocalist, is what a great vocalist. I know I believe it was on the DieHumane Facebook page. You guys posted a link of him. I think it's just his own YouTube channel, and he's singing, and I don't remember which Soundgarden song it is, but he's singing, Chris Cornell, and his voice
it was Audio Slave.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, dude?
Yeah, he's incredible. Wow.
No, man, hey, I swear, I am not kidding. It's not easy. You can ask any singer in the whole world. It's not easy to sing those songs. Yeah. And he nailed that shit, dude. I was just like, God dang, Garrett.
Dude, Garrett can literally do anything. He's that vocalist. Like, he can literally do anything. But more importantly, I think, outside of his singing abilities, Garrett is flat out one of the best dudes I know. He's one of the best guys I know, and he's one 100%. Of the most hardworking people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I actually met Garrett on set of a movie. We did a film called Hair Metal Shotgun Zombie Massacre that had like Tom Araya from Slayer in it. Randy Blythe was in it.
Oh, wow. Tell him that's your movie, Josh. Tell him that's your movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's my movie.
Oh, right on.
But Garrett played one of the band members in the film, because the whole movie's basically like, if you put Motley Crue in the Evil Dead cabin, what would happen?
I love it. That is great.
And Garrett played one of the band members. And I just remember because he was a kid back then. I think Garrett may have been only like 23, I think, when he was in that film.
He looked like he was 16.
He's a phenomenal actor too. Like, the kid's fucking good at everything he does. But I remember while all the other actors were like sitting over where the tents were and staying warm and hanging out around the catering and stuff, I'd look, and this kid's like helping the grip department like carry lights or helping the grip department like run cords and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. Like, we pay these guys to do that. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm just really interested in the process, and I just really want to help everything along, and I'm just really interested in it, and I like to work. And
that's awesome.
It was the only time I've ever like dealt with an actor that wanted to work harder.
Yeah,
cool. That it's usually the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's what you want in a movie production, and then also in a band. You want that kind of that cohesive.
Well, that's also what you need. That's what you want in a human being and a friend. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's such a pleasure to be in a situation like this with a guy that you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It means everything.
And he is very lovable. He's a very lovable guy.
He seems to be a lovable guy. Yeah, he's also a stand-up comedian, right?
Yes, and a very good one.
That's nice. Yeah,
he teaches. He's a high school teacher.
Oh, he is. Oh, man, he's a jack of all trades. Wow, that's impressive.
He seriously is.
That's really cool. And now, did he write the lyrics, or did you write the lyrics, Josh?
Garrett, when it comes to the vocals, Garrett was 100% responsible for all that. Okay. When it came time to put lyrics to a song, him and I would get on the phone, and he'd just be like, "Where were you coming from when you wrote that?"
Exactly.
And I would kind of tell him where I was coming from, and then Garrett would harness it.
That's some songs I asked too.
I'm sorry?
That's the first question I ask you too. It's like, what do you want it to sound like? What do you want? You know what I mean? Just to try to feel out where you're coming from, and then it makes it easier. Honestly, it does.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So did everybody Josh, you had the basic song structure already put together for all of these songs, but then and obviously with Rick played his solos, you kind of gave him some guidance, but a lot of it was like, here's what we want, something here. Was that kind of the same thing with the other band members as far as like the drums, or did you kind of have
pretty much stuff? So with the drums, we had programmed drums, like we had drums programmed and dialed in, but we always knew that we were going to have an actual drummer come back and just humanize everything. So when it came to Sal, we would send him a track that didn't have drums, and then we'd send him a track that had the drums that we did, just to kind of have a little bit of direction there. But other than that, we got out of his way and just let him do his thing.
Nice. How did he get involved with the project? How did you just
Honestly,
reach out to him?
the same way that Rick got involved, because I met Steve doing a music video for his band, and we just kind of kept in contact, and just became friends and everything. And while this was going on, Steve at one point in time, knowing that I'm a massive Typo Negative fan, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "if Sal Abrascato was interested, would you guys be interested in having him play drums?" And I'm sitting there like, dude, you really need to ask that. Like, don't tempt us with a good time, goddammit.
Yeah. Nice.
But and then he sent the music on to Sal. I think he sent Oblivion to Sal, and he hit us right back once he had heard the song, and he was immediately interested. And yeah, that's how he became involved.
Nice, very cool. Rick, I wanted to circle back to something you said earlier.
Yes,
you said when you first started, kind of tracking this stuff, and the first question you had was, when do we tour? So that's my question too. When is the tour? When are you guys gonna start?
Yeah, that's something that we're working on right now. See, it's kind of difficult because everybody has their lives and their jobs and everything. Garrett and Greg and Josh live in Texas. I live in California, and Sal lives in Florida. But we'll get it together once we have some time releasing all these singles until May 5th when the album drops. We have some time to get our stuff together. Right now, we're just gonna do what we're doing and see what comes up. You know what I mean? Agent wise, label wise, we're doing it all ourselves right now with the help of Worm Group, Ulrich Wild, and Des
Fafara. Let's not leave old Desi out.
No, I was just gonna say, and Des Fafara is helping us out in management. So we got a good team. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see what happens in the next couple months. Hopefully these songs take off and people come knocking on our door. We'll see what happens, but definitely we're going to do some shows for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. The thing about DieHumane is with this particular project, number one, it's always meant to be fun. That's number one goal, is that we're making music that we like. We're doing whatever we want, and we write good songs. We're kind of taking everything step by step. Like we've already had shows we probably could have done,
Oh, totally.
But we're just, our main concern right now is just getting the music out there and getting the album out there, because if nobody hears the music and nobody hears the album, then nobody shows up to see us play.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. So the thing is with this band, which is I think is like so super cool, is like when you incorporate violins and it stacks with the five of us, it's going to be more of a production than just a show. You know what I mean? We want to put on a show. A rock show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be badass.
I can't wait.
We can't wait either. We're like,
we fully intend to incorporate all of our backgrounds into the show. Like case in point, Greg and I, we used to build sets for haunted houses.
Oh, cool.
So we've got special effects background.
Oh, nice.
We have in-house pyrotechnics. So I mean, we got a lot of things we can pull out as far as the show goes. But just again, the biggest thing is just getting the music in front of people. Because again, if nobody hears the music, nobody's going to show up to see us play. So we just kind of take everything step by step. We're not rushing to do anything. The music industry, it's a business, but at the end of the day, like this is a passion project, man. Like, and it starts and ends there.
Right.
So yeah, we just take it step by step, and once the album's out, if somebody hits us up and has a cool show for us to play, we'll go play it. Or they have a cool tour for us to jump on, we'll jump on it. And with our management team, Des and Anastasia Fafara, obviously from Devil Driver, we could not ask for anybody better. They're like the perfect marriage of being artist friendly as well as being business savvy. They're always up for kind of doing things different. There's never because I'm the type of guy that I have a million crazy jackassy ideas every day. And Des is the type of manager that you can throw those at him and he'll either be like, well, this isn't going to work because of this, or he'll be like, well, nobody's done that. Let's see if it works, you know, and if it doesn't work, we'll just do it this way. So, I mean, they're absolutely perfect. And just really, really cool people in general. They're two of my favorite people on the planet.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's definitely what you want in a manager is, you know, just somebody that listens, obviously, and, you know, and will be honest with you and upfront and tell you, yeah, that idea is not going to really work, or that's an interesting idea. Let's try that. Let's see what that does. That's cool. That's great. Yeah, that you know, more of a partnership than just a management, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I was curious, maybe this is a stupid question, but did you kind of have, Josh, did you have a vision of kind of how you wanted this to sound? Like when you first started writing this with, you know, when you and when Greg started kind of playing around, was it like, yeah, I want to do something really different and avant-garde, and I want to have violins and I want to have horns? Did you already kind of start? So you had a vision from that at the beginning?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. From the get-go, we knew exactly what it was going to sound like. I kind of already had a template for it, even before Greg came involved. I mean, there was already 2 songs pretty much laid down. Okay. It's a project I've always wanted to do. It was just all about the right time, you know, because usually I'm busy with a million other things. There's the film industry stuff. Greg and I run a haunted tour business that's in multiple cities. Oh, wow. So, I mean, we're just always busy. But when 2020 happened, there was literally nothing else to do. And when I hit Greg up, that's what I told him. I was like, hey, man, I think it's time. Like, I think it's time that we start writing some music and stuff. And yeah, the vision for it was already there. We already knew what it was going to sound like. I mean, it was pretty much just a matter of sitting and laying it all down and just making it happen. Nice. When it comes to music, man, I listen to everything. I don't give a damn what it is. You know, I listen to pop. I listen to fucking grindcore and black metal and country and literally everything. Nice. And I'm actually going to quote Philip Anselmo when it comes to my own personal view on music. And he did an interview once where he said, it's almost like back in the day, people would get together and they would start a band and they would take their 10 favorite bands and rip them off to hell. But in doing that, you're going to find your own sound. Whereas a lot of times nowadays, you got bands that get together and it's like they rip off their favorite 2 bands. And in doing that, they just sound like those 2 bands. Right. Whereas with DieHumane, we just wanted to rip off every freaking thing in the world that we liked and roll it into one big burrito.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. The reason why we use the term avant-garde is for lack of a better, we don't know what to call it. But yesterday, somebody posted on Facebook and they called us Bizarro Core. So I think that we might.
Perfect.
Bizarro Core.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely perfect. I can't remember who that was, but it was Facebook commenter guy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I love that. Bizarro Core. That's badass. Yeah, that's a good term. I like it. I dig that. That's pretty good. That's very fitting. That's very apropos, I think, you know, for what.
Right.
But it's like I said, when I first heard those songs, it just and I shout out to my buddy John Thomas. He's the one that because I was at work and he messaged me and said, did you see this was back January 13th. He said, did you see that DieHumane song dropped? I'm like, no, I'm at work. I got to check this out. And yeah, as soon as I listened to it, I'm like, whoa, this is, because it wasn't what I did.
That makes us so happy. We're so stoked. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And it was great because it was not what I expected in a very, very good way. Like it was, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest.
Well, we've been telling people that for 2 months, could be just because I'm in the band, we were trying to tell people that, dude, it's not going to be thrash. It's everything but, you know what I mean? So just, we wanted to put that out there a whole bunch just so people wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie, I was a nervous wreck after a couple of days before we dropped Oblivion. Like, oh my God, I just hope people like it. My God.
He was truly.
I was, dude. I was like, but the day it dropped, I turned on my phone, dude. I'm like, okay, here we go. I took a deep breath and I just dove into Facebook. And I'm like, dude, they like it. They like it, dude. Yeah. I was so proud of the people, you know what I mean? Because you never know when you're doing something different, bro. You just never know. And I was just really proud of the people, how open-minded they are, and just, dude, it was so proud of them.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about metalheads, man. Metalheads, they're some of the most open-minded music fans out there, and then they're so passionate about their genre. Like, believe it or not, one of my favorite kinds of metal fans are actually the kind of metal fans that did not like DieHumane, the ones that are like thrash till death, and they're so passionate about it. If it's if it's not hardcore, get it the fuck out of here. You know, they're amazing. Like, and I love them, but you know, it's just unfortunately, you know, our music's not going to appeal to them.
Yeah,
but they're just like the best freaking fans. You don't get that out of any other genre of music. Like nobody's running around out there like pop country, bro. You know, like it doesn't happen like that.
Right?
That's true. That's very true. Well, what I thought was cool was, you know, because I remember when, you know, months ago, Rick, when you had posted on Facebook, and I might have actually been a private conversation between you and I. Because I think I'd hit you up for an interview months and months ago, and you said, "Hey, why don't you hold off? Because I've got this new project, and I think you're going to find it really interesting."
Yeah.
And I don't even think you gave me the name at the time, and you said, "Yeah, it's nothing like you've ever heard me play before. This is totally different."
Yeah.
And which is very cool, and yeah, like I said, you know, when I heard Oblivion, and I'm like, "Wow, this is fresh. This is new. This is interesting." And you know, and I don't want to badmouth anybody, but you know, I'm a diehard metal fan, and there's been, you know, over the last few years, there's been some bands that I love and adore, and they put stuff out, and I'm really excited for the album, and it comes out, I'm like, this just sounds like you re-recorded one of your old albums. Like there's nothing new here.
I know. That's what I didn't want, bro. That's what I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be a part of that. And thank God I got the call, and everything's worked out perfect. It's just, I'm blessed. We're all blessed. This is awesome.
It's very exciting stuff.
Thanks.
So I did want to ask, I don't want to keep you all day, but I did want to ask both of you. I was curious about, and especially how it has shaped this album and these songs. I was curious, you know, question for both of you, you know, kind of who were the people that inspired you as musicians, like who, you know, and to this day, and maybe kind of helped inspire some of this music that were, you know, on the DieHumane album.
Josh, go ahead.
Me personally, the top of that list is Trent Reznor. I'm a huge fan of that guy. Anything from you know, obviously his work with Nine Inch Nails, to some of the albums he's produced, all the way down to his soundtrack work. Like, I mean, the guy's brilliant. He's one of the best composers, you know, of the last 100 years. And I mean, he can do it all. He can do industrial. He can do blues. I mean, you hear so much stuff in Nine Inch Nails' music. He produced a rap album that's one of the best things I've ever heard for a guy named Sal Williams. Which, if you haven't heard it, it's freaking amazing. Just imagine if Ziggy Stardust decided he was going to make a hip hop album, and that's what it is. It's freaking brilliant. I'm a big fan of a lot of composers. I really like orchestral music. John Williams is a big one. Hans Zimmer's a big one. Gosh, I don't even know where to. I could go on and on and on all day. Like, there's just so much influence. I really love music in general. So
cool.
You know, there's a country band, if you can even call them that, called Those Poor Bastards. If you haven't heard them, I could not recommend them enough. These guys are on another freaking planet. They sound like nothing you've ever heard. They're a big influence.
Cool.
I mean, as far as metal goes, Celtic Frost, I'm a big Tom Warrior fan. Everything he's ever done. Triptychon is amazing. That last album they did is just one of the best freaking metal albums ever written. Typo Negative. I'm a huge Typo Negative fan. That definitely had some influence in the music, to say the least. And just to throw out a hot take, I really love a lot of new metal, which I already know there's going to be people starting to throw darts because of that. But when people think of new metal, they think of like Linkin Park and Papa Roach and stuff like that, which I don't really think's fair. When I think of new metal, I think of Coal Chamber, or I think of like Soulfly's first 3 albums, or Spine Shank, or stuff like that. Static X, American Head Charge, dude. American Head Charge was amazing.
Mushroom Head,
Mushroom Head, definitely Mushroom Head. What I liked about new metal was it was so experimental that you had a whole wave of like 50 bands that come out, and almost none of them sounded the same. They all kind of incorporated different influences and stuff like that into the music. So I mean, each band kind of had their own sound, you know.
But they kept
that part of it was right. That part of it was cool. But then, just like any other musical trend, then all of a sudden you have like, you know, like the third or fourth wavers that come out that are just kind of regurgitating everything. And for some reason in new metal, it was like the least metal bands were the ones that kind of became the king of it, like Linkin Park or Papa Roach, which, you know, in their own right, sure, they've been very successful, but that's not metal, dude.
No.
Like, that is not metal. Like, it's good shit, but not metal.
Right.
So that's my very long-winded answer to that.
I mean, that's the thing with DieHumane, is that we have metal roots, you know what I mean? But you really can't call us a metal band. You know, because honestly, dude, if you listen to the whole album, there's songs on this album that don't have any distorted guitar at all.
Yeah,
that are like way like more like Pink Floyd. I don't know. It's hard to put a genre on this band. It really is.
Yeah, like there's a song called Nevermind that it's almost like an R&B song in 3.
Dude, it is. It's so weird. It's literally 2 weeks out of the month, it's my favorite song on the album. Seriously. I do, and the production, man, Sal's drums are just the biggest.
Huge.
They're just huge.
Nice.
And he's just Superfoot salsa, man. He's badass. But anyway, so yeah, what Josh said, and I was as far as this band goes, I mean, influence wise, I know that our singers, and I am heavily influenced by Mike Patton.
Oh yeah, Garrett.
Anything that Mike Patton touches is insane. Just the guy's a genius. Period. You know, and like he said, like Rammstein is a big influence.
Oh yeah, I love Rammstein.
You know what I mean? Just anything good and hard and not so hard. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
That's cool. That's very cool.
You know, I grew up with R&B, funk, Prince. You know, all the Heat Wave and the Barcades and Cameo and all these other bands. Earth, Wind, and Fire was a huge inspiration to me.
Oh, cool.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
so I mean, we got a gang. I mean, Garrett could sit. Garrett knows more about the new metal band, not new metal, but like new bands that are coming up. He can just drop band names like for a week, and I'm like, who the fuck are they, dude? You know what I mean? And he knows a lot about that shit.
That's cool.
And check out Garrett's other band that he came from, Anova Skyway. They're really good too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and they're like a kind of a prog band.
Yes,
right?
yeah, they're very proggy.
Is that what you call Anova Skyway, prog?
Like prog, space rock, metal-esque stuff.
I like them. I think they're good.
Yeah, they're really good, and they're really good guys too.
Nice.
Yeah, that means a lot for sure.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Pretty sure I did their first music video.
You did?
I can't remember. Their first or second one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Nice.
I like them a lot.
Well, gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor, really, chatting with both of you. I cannot wait for the new album, The Grotesque, which drops May 5th. Correct?
Yes.
May 5th, 2023. So those of you watching this, if you look in the description below, there are links to the DieHumane pages. You definitely, if you have not heard them, you want to check them out right away. Get on YouTube, look up DieHumane, go to their Facebook page. There's links on there that you can check out their music. They've got 2 incredibly wonderful singles that have dropped so far. The album,
we got videos coming, all kinds of shit.
Awesome. So cool. Again, thank you very much, gentlemen. I really appreciate your time and
hey, thank you, man.
for the full album to drop.